Okay, hi everybody, welcome back to another episode. I have a really fun one for you today. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how I went about restoring and beautifying this late 19th century credenza. It is a complete disaster at the present moment, so let's go through it and break down what needs to get done.
My name is Katarina, and I live in a small town in beautiful northern Alberta. I restore and refinish furniture, both for myself and for clients. Welcome to my shop.
Okay, so right off the bat, the biggest issue that we have with this piece is the fact that it is no longer stable. It has such a huge wobble, and that's because the back has lost all of its glue. The supporting rails are no longer doing their job. The glue has completely deteriorated because of the age. I will need to be mindful. This is going to need to be stripped off. It is lead paint, so this entire piece was covered in lead paint at one point. I had this back in September dropped off. I'm now able to work on it, and I did do the exterior portion of the stripping outside. So interiorly, I just left the drawers because I knew I would get to this later, and so all this little bit of paint is going to be stripped off. These old hardware holes were filled with some kind of filler, so that's going to be drilled out and new hardware will be put in where the existing holes were. These escutcheons, I love escutcheons. I think they're so fun on a piece, and it's such a shame when they get destroyed. So these are original wood escutcheons. The keyhole in here needs to be cleaned up, or the actual lock function needs to be cleaned up as well. And every single drawer is loose and needs to have their joints re-glued. In this drawer, this bottom here has broken and the part of it isn't here, so I'll try to get that out and re-glue this. If I can keep as many original pieces to this dresser, to this credenza, I do try to keep as much of it original as possible. A new piece of wood will need to be added here and reshaped to repair this. The nail here that was added is misaligned, so that will need to be corrected. Same here, a new piece of wood will need to be added and then just shaved down to correct that. This piece is going to be stained, so I'm not going to be using any kind of Bondo or filler that will stand out once I stain it. The next biggest issue is the issue of these boards here, the top not lining up properly. So once I get that off, I'll be able to better assess what needs to get done. The back here has a very large crack, probably about 7 or 8 inches that is cracked here and split. Looks like there was a little bit of nails that went in here just to kind of hold it together. That will be re-glued, and all of these joints, these stabilizer boards, will be re-glued and everything shifted back to make it even again. On the back here, one of these joints here has snapped, so that will need to be repaired as well. And again, this top board sits on top of this piece here, so once everything comes apart, I can address that. This is by far the largest restoration project that I will be completing in my shop to date. So it is a really big task, and there's so much to do. So let's get started with taking everything out, taking the hardware off, and cleaning up the drawer fronts to see what we have to do next. Alrighty. It's amazing what you discover when you take things apart. So in the back here, this will all be fixed. That needs to be re-glued. These drawers here need to, obviously, this is completely come out, so that's going to be re-glued. Any other ones? Yeah, this one too. So you can see these have all shifted, and so that will need to be fixed. They're not anywhere where they used to be sitting. You can hear how weak that is. Oh, that's completely cracked as well. So all of these need to be fixed. Look at this giant crack right here. And again, completely fallen apart. These should not be like this. They're glued into the side walls or glued into the sides here. And these side panels free float, so you don't want to glue them to the side panel, but they should be glued square to these support bars here. Same thing with this one. So once I take off this little drawer stop here, I'll replace them with something better. There's already some that have been removed. That will be needing repair. That drawer stop completely failed. So yeah, there's another piece that needs to be re-glued up here. Just take it one piece at a time. That's really all you can do with these major pieces, is just take them one piece at a time and label, label, label. So before I take anything apart, I need to get in there with my tape and make sure I am matching A to A, B to B, C to C, so that I know where everything is going back when I go to put everything back together. That's like one of the most important things. If anyone ever taught you anything about restoration, please let it be this. Label, label, label everything on a piece before you take it apart. That's my tip of the day for you. For today's project, I'm going to be trying out solvable heavy-duty stripper. It is eco-friendly as you can get. Low VOC, low odor. So we'll see how this one does.
Normally, to strip furniture nowadays, I would use my circa 1850 soft strip, which has almost no odor and is super gentle on old pieces. But because this piece is positive for lead paint, I opted to use a stripper with a much thicker gel consistency to keep the product wet and to really pull the lead paint off as I strip the piece. This helps protect me and the piece.
Okay, so when I mean label everything, I mean label everything, because if you think your memory is good, it won't be once you're knee deep into a project. So I've got every part of this labeled. I've got all the meeting joints labeled, the rows labeled, this part labeled, 2, 2, front facing up, back facing up, which side the wood goes, 1, 1. Obviously the top here doesn't need a label, but and even the back boards need to be labeled. Top board and the number of which boards go in what order. And take pictures, which I'll be doing shortly after this. Take lots of pictures.
I removed the escutcheons with the heat gun. I did this so I would be able to sand the front easier, but unfortunately, despite my attempts to save them and be really gentle while trying to remove them, they were all so fragile and 2 out of 4 of them broke. So I just ended up ordering some new ones from Kennedy Hardware. All of the drawer bottoms were glued in place in the front, and 3 out of 7 of them were completely broken. They all had signs of wormwood as well, so the bottom panels will be replaced with brand new wood, and these ones will just be thrown out. As I'm dismantling the drawers, I'm using my new punch set to help me mark where each piece goes. Working on old pieces reminds me of working on a 1,000 piece puzzle. There's only one piece that properly connects to another in order to complete the picture. Use a wrong piece and the puzzle just doesn't work. It's the same with these old pieces. For me, as the piece ages, the wood expands and contracts and shifts, and if something isn't right, it won't go back together properly.
Wood wants to move, and it has to move. It has to expand and contract. And by gluing this, you've now prevented that from happening, which will absolutely 100% lead to some kind of crack later on down the road. So do not do this. So I think the only fix for this is I'm going to dig it out, and since it's not, none of them are coming out in solid pieces, they're crumbling, I'm going to replace the boards. And yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll just end up replacing the boards, and I think I need to anyways, because I think those are probably wood wormholes, so we'll want to get rid of that anyways.
After that, he wants to play Baldy School. And we need this. This.
So the next big task is going to be repairing the drawer slides now, or the drawer glides, right in here. So they are not even. This one's quite low here, this one's higher here, and this one's lower here. So the first thing that you need to do is measure the front of the drawer here to see what the actual dimension is supposed to be, so you can calculate how much you need to add onto the missing void. So this is just from where, over time, where the drawer gets pulled in and out and the runners just get used up. As the wood gets run across the other wood, it wears itself out. So first thing I'm going to do is just measure the front here using my square. And I know the top part here is flat, so that's the surface I'll use. And typically you can find your measurement at the very front here, because that part doesn't normally get worn down as much as the middle sections. So from here it's 4 5/16. I'm going to need to fill in this void, so I'm going to shave this part down, make it nice and straight, and then I'm going to use another hardwood. This is hard pine, so I'm going to use another hard pine to replace, to add this piece here. So what I've done here is I've added this piece of wood and anchored it down onto my tabletop, so it has something to kick up against while I use my block plane to shave this down.
The reason I am hand planing these repairs is simply because I don't have the large machining tools in my shop. And by doing the repairs by hand, it's a good reminder that we don't always need those tools to get the job done. They cut down on the work time and can save you a lot of physical stress, but they aren't 100% necessary to get the job done, as you can see here. Along with my planer, I use my chisel to remove the wood closest to the front where my planer can't reach. When using your chisel, it's important to keep the blade on the wood as you push forward to keep it as flat as possible on the surface. Chisels are a fantastic tool to have in your shop as a refinisher and are so versatile. So if you are new to refinishing and restoration, I highly recommend you purchase yourself a good quality set and keep them handy. As I'm shaving the wood down, I'm constantly measuring to make sure that I'm not going too far beyond the line that I had drawn for myself on the side of the wood here. I need to give myself enough clearance for the new piece of wood, but I don't want to take away too much wood at the exact same time. Once I was satisfied with how much I had removed of the old wood, I then measured and cut for the new piece of pine that I was going to glue down. Once the glue was set, I then used my planer to shave away all of the excess wood and then tested the drawer to make sure it wasn't sticking anywhere. I did this process for all 7 drawers as they all needed new drawer sliders. It was certainly a task.
Okay, so there is still a significant amount of work that needs to get done on this project, but with the new stain color chosen by the customer and the drawers rebuilt, glued together, and everything now working smoothly, I'm content on ending this video with where we are in terms of progress. So this is part 1 of a 2-part video series where I am fully restoring and putting back together this beautiful 1890s dresser. If you like this sort of content, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe below. And as always, thank you to all my subscribers, both new and old. I couldn't be doing this without you guys. It really is such a fantastic way to share projects with you all. If you have questions about any parts of this process that I have been working on, please feel free to leave a comment below. So make sure to follow up with me in 2 weeks when I will be putting up part 2 of the rest of this restoration. Until then, I hope everybody has a beautiful weekend, and I will see you guys all very soon. Bye for now.